Occasionally when somebody speaks and elongates the particular last word or the alphabet. So those are the things that I'm here to count and to identify. And at the end of the meeting, to enumerate and mention everything that has been said that does not really fall into the rightful way of public speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our counselor, for today's meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
The next role player is the one who will play the role of grammarian. She is an image expert and behavioral coach and consultant. She's a mother of 4 children, a very committed Toastmaster, and the president of a very, very vibrant Toastmasters Club, Business School Netherlands Toastmasters Club. Please let's put our hands together for this delectable lady, Toastmaster Nneoma Efanga.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Madam. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. I'm sorry I'm a little bit flustered. It has been a long day indeed, but I'll get right into my role for the day. As your grammarian, I am expected to bring the word of the day to you and also to look out for mispronounced words in the course of the meeting. So I would be your police in the use of English language today. The word of the day is comments. Comments. Can we all say it with me? Comments.
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 Comments. Okay. Comments. Its meaning, in the noun form, it's derived from the noun form commencement, right? And its meaning is of a person or action to begin. So to begin something or to start an action or a person. Synonyms are start or go about. Example, the erudite evaluation team commenced work. So it's either to begin or to start. I would be excited to see that each and every one of us, given the opportunity to speak today, will be using our word of the day, commence, as we continue in our meeting or as our meeting commences. I would love to hear the word of the day used with purpose. Now it's back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, grammarian. We have heard the word of the day, and we hope to use it very well. Our next role player is the one that will play the role of the listening evaluator. He is a business growth consultant, a public speaking enthusiast, president, Sunshine Toastmasters Club of Akure. He also enjoys lawn tennis playing. Please let's put our hands together for Toastmaster John Awodeli.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator DTM Stella. A very good evening to every DTM, Toastmasters, and guests in the room today. It's a pleasure to join the meeting. Apologies, I'm not able to turn on my video at this time, but I hope that my voice will do some justice to my role. As the listening evaluator today, my responsibility is not so elaborate, but I hope to do it as best as I can. I will be listening for every tidbit that will be shared in the course of our speaking. So from every point through the journey, as we have commenced, I will listen out for interesting words and phrases and clauses that are used. And at the end of the meeting, I will ask questions to be sure that we were listening well. So you don't want to fall into my trap. You want to listen well. Until then, when we check, Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, our listening evaluator. Let me use this opportunity to commiserate with you on the loss of your Papa President. Mama was a very great and enthusiastic person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please convey our communication to your club member.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, we've all heard the various role players of my team giving the feedback, giving the role, giving us what their roles entail. For my role as Toastmaster, as General Evaluator for today's meeting, I shall be evaluating every aspect of today's meeting, from the start of the meeting to all the role players, and to how well we fared in today's meeting as well, and how we close in good time. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as we commence the meeting proper, permit me to invite the one who is the Toastmaster today's meeting back to the virtual lesson. The Toastmaster.
Thank you very kindly, the General Evaluator, Toastmaster Stella Odunwa, DTM. Thank you for the introduction of your role and that of your teams. Thank you. For the benefit of our guests, in our typical Toastmasters meetings, we have first the table topics session, the prepared session, and the evaluation session. So ladies and gentlemen, let us commence the table topics section. The table topics session is a session where members and guests alike are expected to speak extemporaneously, to speak off the cuff. The beauty is that even guests are invited to speak. For me, this is one of the most interesting parts of the meeting. If you find this session interesting and you are ready to commence, please give me a 2 on the chat box, a 2. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we commence, I'll be introducing the table topics master. She has been a Toastmaster since 2018. Her daytime job involves developing and implementing customer value propositions for one of the top 5 financial institutions in Nigeria. As a plus, she's a co-host on a primetime show called Ways. What Are You Saying? WAYS, where she contributes her quota on topical issues, focusing on SMEs, youth, and women. She's married to one husband and is the proud mother of 2 adorable girls. She strongly believes that it's okay to share a smile with everyone we meet because life is a tough cookie. Adding meanness to it is an overkill. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Toastmaster Akanimo Ojo to the virtual lectern.
Thank you very kindly, Toastmaster Salif Mohammed, for that wonderful introduction. I think it's the most wonderful way my bio has ever been read. Thank you very much. As we commence on this session, Toastmaster Salif has given us a brief of what this session is about, just in case we have any guests in our midst. It just tests your ability to be able to put your thoughts together and give an answer to an impromptu question. You have about 2 minutes to do that. and would encourage you to speak for at least 1 minute. I'd also encourage you to use the word of the day, which is commence, as many times as possible. So let's commence. I have 3 topics today, and they're all bordered. And I must apologize if my background's a bit noisy. I'm still at the office, and I have an open plan office. So please pardon me and ignore any noise or any voice that is not mine. Thank you for your understanding. As I was saying, my topics for today are based on 3 quotes that are anchored on today's theme, which is the price of growth. I would really like people volunteer to give this speech, and don't make me look for exciting names that I want to target and call. So please help me out by volunteering. I have 3 topics. I'd like to take 3 people. Thank you very much, Ibrahim Kasim. Do I have someone else, or do we start with Ibrahim? Do we commence with Ibrahim? Okay, so while we commence with Ibrahim, I'll allow other people to work up their courage while we listen to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, thank you for volunteering. I have 3 topics, 1, 2, and 3. You could go ahead to pick any one.
Let me commence with number 1.
Yeah. Nice, good choice. Paulo Coelho, a writer, said that personal growth has its price, but she's paying for it without complaints. What do you think about this sentence?
Could you please repeat the quotes one more time?
Personal growth has its price, and she's paying it without complaint.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. And it will be challenged of me if I don't commence by showing gratitude for discerning the fact that I raised my hand to hop on the bandwagon. Personal growth, like everyone else knows, has a price, and the price of personal growth cannot be overemphasized. The fact remains that when you hone your career, when you hone your public speaking skill, when you hone your leadership skills, when you thread a path that leads you to growth in either there's always a price to pay for it. 1, sleepless nights, reading, trying to ensure that you are at your best, burning the midnight oil, a host of others. Those are the price that needed to be paid for achieving greatness. In essence, nothing in life comes so easy. There's always a price to pay for everything. Even the so-called vices on the land as well wouldn't come easy as well, because there's always a price to pay for it. You are scared to be caught, you are scared to face the route of the law and whatnot. In essence, fellow Toastmasters and our delectable guests, if you must achieve greatness in life, be ready to pay that price. On these notes, I will now relinquish the control of the virtual lecture to the Table Topics Master. Over to you, Ma.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for that. Everything has a price. Wow. Thank you for taking that on courageously and doing so well. So do I have my second volunteer? Please support me. This is the time to support me and volunteer. Don't make me call you. Going 1, going 2. Okay, let me start with your beautiful face. Komiyo. Komiyo, are you available? Hello, Komiyo. Okay.
Komiyo is giving. Sorry, yes. Hi.
Okay, Thank you very much. Thank you. Tomio, can you share your video with us? Is it possible?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
There it is, the very beautiful face. Thank you. So I have questions 2 and 3. What's your choice?
3.
3. Great choice. Well, all the questions are great. Here it is. Whatever makes you uncomfortable is your biggest opportunity for growth. Whatever makes you uncomfortable is your biggest opportunity for growth. And this was said by Brand McGrill, an American activist and author. What's your opinion about that quote?
Thank you, TM Ojo. I absolutely agree with what you have said. What makes you uncomfortable is an opportunity for growth. I would give an example of, a very good example is myself, because there is something I particularly shy away from, and that is the part of me that wants to communicate on something on an outcome that I dread. So I would give an example, like I said. So probably let me give a day at work where I know that, okay, due to financial challenges, I am a medical doctor, by the way, and due to financial challenges, my patients may not be able to afford some medical investigations or procedures. And I know that it is right for them to know about that, but because we communicate and I know the financial challenges, and I dread letting them know what the outcome may be. So instead of that, I sometimes shy away from letting them, pushing that to them, of which in this case, I know that it is, when you let people know of something imminent or something, or when you communicate on everything to them, at least to the point that they can understand, they would appreciate the information. So, letting people know that you are, and that will make them know that you care when you actually let them know of information rather than thinking for them. Thank you very much. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Komio. That was beautifully done. Thank you very much for obliging, for turning on your video, and for stepping onto the plate when I called you. Thank you. Very grateful. So I have one more question left. And let's see, do we have a volunteer, or do I still have to go through the torturous process of looking through the names and picking someone? Going once, going twice. Okay. I think I like the people that have pictures, so I would like to call Elemoro Ademola. Are you available?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Your voice is so alive. Can you show us what you look like? You want to share your video with us if you can?
I don't look too nice right now, but I'll share.
Thank you. Thank you very much. See, you almost deceived us all, but thank you. I have one more question left, and unfortunately, you don't have a choice. So I'll just give it to you straight away. It says, don't stop when you're tired, stop when you are done. And that was said by Wesley Snipes, an American actor. Don't stop when you're tired, stop when you are done. Do you agree with this quote? The floor is yours.
Well, of course, I agree with the quotes. And, at least hearing that quote alone takes my mind to a period when I try to work out and, I try to do push-ups. So, and I started from 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups. And I had a friend who was like a coach. And one of the things he always told me was, I shouldn't stop when I'm tired, that when I get to that point, that's when I actually I've actually started the exercise. So that in a way relates to that quote in terms of saying, don't stop when you're tired.
I think technology is playing a fast one there. This is giving 10 more seconds to see if we can recover from that. Okay, I think we have, I don't want to use the word we've lost him. It always sounds like, like an obituary sentence. I think his network has, disabled him or removed him from the meeting. Do we want to have someone just take on that last one? And timekeeper, please let me know if I have more time or if I'm running out of time. So the question is already out there. I see Dada Taiwan muting.
You have more time.
Thank you. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Okay. Should I give you the topic again?
Yes, please.
Okay. So it says, don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. Wesley Snipes.
Okay. Don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. Thank you very much for the topic. Before I commence, I'd like to state this, that the beginning of a journey, at the end of a journey is the beginning of another. So at many points in time, when you know, or when you feel that you are done, or you are tired about something, that is not the time for you to actually say you are done with it. That is the time to think, what is the next after this? And in my life as an entrepreneur, I faced so many challenges that always tell me that it's just the beginning. Sometimes you look at some results and you're not getting it. And the only thing you expect is to actually either get a positive one, or when you're not getting it, at that point, you still have to tell yourself that it's just the beginning. So when there are challenges, they are just a lift for you to move to the next level. So at any point, at any level, one should not give up. One should not give in. One should keep encouraging him or herself that this is just the beginning of another level. So at every point, when challenges come up, encourage yourself and tell yourself, it is the beginning of another level. So don't quit and don't give in when you are tired, but only when you are done. Thank you very much, the Toastmaster, the table topic master.
Thank you very much for coming to the rescue, Toastmaster Daga Taiwo. I want to say a special thank you to Ibrahim, Komio, and Elemoro. Thank you all for coming to the plate. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for sharing your personal story, and thank you for sharing your opinion with us. Personally, I believe that everything has a price, even for the things that you don't budget for, wrong decisions, right decisions, decisions you don't take, everything has a price. Count the price and you'll be ready for the journey. Back to you, table topics. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you, the table topic master. Thank you so much. I am meant to introduce the table topics evaluator, but I had prior information that she's finding it difficult to connect to this call. Is she on now? Is Toastmaster Franca Eboma on? It appears she's not on the call yet. As you all know, there is no vacuum in Toastmasters. So one of us would have to step up to evaluate. I would like to take that bull by the horns. So I will be your table topics evaluator for this session. All right. The table topic section was enthralling. If you agree with me, please give me a 3 on the chat box, a 3. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. The first speaker, Toastmaster Ibrahim Kasim, commenced by selecting the first question on the list. And his question was, Polig, a writer, said that personal growth has its price, and she's paying it without complaint. She's playing it without complaint. I liked the way that TM Ibrahim Kasim came on by asking the question to be repeated. What that did was give him enough time to rearrange his thoughts and to also understand the question. I want to believe it's a great way of getting time or buying time for yourself. That's an experienced Toastmaster. I like the fact that you had composure, you demonstrated confidence. You made sure your camera was well positioned so we could even see your gestures and they were visible. Well done. You did good justice to your question. And pardon me, before I go on, so when we vote, we are not subjected to the evaluation. Can I please call on the timer to let us know if every speaker is within time?
Thank you very much. Every timer is within time except for Elemoro Ademola that spent 1 minute 21 seconds, and we could not hear from him again. Yes.
Okay.
It was also within time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Back to the evaluation. The second speaker, Komio
Please help
Ehua.
us. Toastmaster, please help us share the value. That's the voting slip so that people can vote before you finish.
Okay, okay. Kindly vote. Are you all done with the voting?
Sorry, Toastmaster of the day, can you kindly check
So
the chat room?
Okay.
I'm unable to vote. It is hanging.
Try again. Is the voting over? Have we concluded the elections after the commencement?
Certainly, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very kindly. Then I go again back to the evaluation. The second speaker chose the third question, Komio Ehua, Toastmaster Komio Ehua. And the question is, whatever makes you uncomfortable is your opportunity for growth. I like the confidence you exuded. You introduced your opening and you commenced with an example that we could all relate to. I love the way you presented your example, and it was clear for all of us that you understood the question that was asked. I love your confidence. That's the stuff Toastmasters are made of. The third speaker, Elemoro Ademola, chose the second question. And the question was, don't stop when you are tired. Stop when you are done. TM Elemoro agreed with the quote and commenced with a story that we could also relate with, especially me, for someone like me who has been working on my one pack. I'm hoping it will get to 6 packs soon. Right now, I have 2 packs. I'm getting there. So I liked your story, but for the network, I knew that the concluding part would have been nice. Then the fourth speaker, Dada Taiwo, came on with the same question. And he started with a strong point. The end of a journey is the beginning of another. I think that was punchy. And after that, you commence with a story about your life as an entrepreneur. I loved your presentation, and I loved the entire speech. Thank you all for this. The table topics evaluator also was awesome because the topics that were selected were related to the theme of the meeting. For me, this has been an enthralling session. If you agree with me, please give me a 4. I like the charts. Give me a 4 if you agree with me that you've had an enthralling session. Give me a 4. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we go on to the next session, timer, please confirm if we have time for a networking session. Can we commence a networking session for 5 minutes?
Yes, we do.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly. Okay. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, in the next 5 minutes, let the networking session commence. And remember, I'm going to ask you who you have met, who you have spoken to. I know some of us have used this time to go for convenience and all of that, but if you spoke with someone, be sure I'm going to ask you. You can do a direct message or you can talk. It's so quiet. Can we all talk? I don't want to do the talking alone. Who am I meeting? Mr. Timer, kindly confirm if we need to get back to if we need to commence the meeting right away.
I think we can start now.
All right.
We can start now.
Thank you. Are we all back? Because it's clear we didn't do much of the networking. We went to stretch our legs, use the convenience, take tea, and do other stuff that will make us free for this next interesting session. If you are back on the call, kindly give me a 5. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not commencing until I know that we are all back. Thank you. Thank you. Give me a 5. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, confirmed. We are all back. We are all back. Welcome back. This next session is the moment we have all been waiting for. This is the moment where we have prepared speeches according to specific projects. If you are ready, let us commence. The first prepared speeches. The first prepared speech will be presented by Toastmaster Komio Ehua. I'd like to confirm, is she on call right now?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very kindly. TM Toastmaster Komio Ehua, I hope I got the pronunciation correctly. I'm very bad with pronunciations. You will be giving your speech from level 3, project 4 of the path innovative planning. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about Toastmaster Ehua. She is a medical doctor with a driven passion for personal and professional development. Komio loves to dance kizomba and salsa, meet new people, as well as eating good food. She is the Vice President Education of Seaside Toastmasters Club. Ladies and gentlemen, before Toastmaster Komio's speech, let me introduce her evaluator. One moment. She will be evaluated by Toastmaster Ademola Elemoro. Ademola Elemoro is a human resource author, trainer. He joined Toastmasters before. He is married and enjoys reading, communication, running, watching football, and seeing romantic movies. Toastmaster Ademola Elemoro, may I please welcome you to the virtual lectern as you outline the speaker's role. Is he on call? Toastmaster Elemoro. Is it from my end? Can you all hear me?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank
Loud
you.
and clear, but
Loud
we
and
cannot
clear,
hear.
loud and clear.
Like Elemoro is having network challenge.
Okay, can we have someone?
Is the speech objective with you? If it's with you, I can stand in for him.
Yes, I will give our
Please
speech
read out
objectives. Yes.
But I will.
Thank you. The purpose of her project is for her to practice the skills needed to present herself well in an interview. It's for her to practice the skills needed to present
I'm in a
herself,
meeting, love.
to present herself well in an interview. Is this understood?
Elemoro is here now.
Okay.
Elemoro is here now.
Okay, Elemoro, your call, please. Could you give the speaker her speech objectives?
Of course I can. I really apologize about that. So the purpose of the speech or the presentation we are about to entertain now is for the member to practice the skills needed to present himself or herself well in an interview. To add to that, the member is completing this project. The member completing this project has spent time organizing his or her skills, identifying how those skills can be applied to complete this role play interview. So we're about to witness a role play interview, and she's supposed to demonstrate the skills that she's supposed to showcase in an interview. So best of luck.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elemoro. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, join me as I welcome to the interview room Toastmaster Komio Ehua.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to be Toastmaster Ehua's interviewer. Welcome, Toastmaster Ehua.
Thank you, sir.
Could you tell me about yourself?
Thank you.
My name is Komiyo Ehua, and I am a graduate of the Lagos State University College of Medicine. I am a public health enthusiast with about 3 years experience in both the clinical and research space. My focus is on infectious diseases where I treat Lassa fever and COVID-19 patients, which ultimately contributes to reducing the global burden of infectious diseases. My interest spans from health equity to effective health policy for the betterment of the common man. And while I am not doing all of this, I am taking dance classes every Thursday and Saturday night at Smoky Bones Mexican restaurant on Victoria Island. Thank you.
Interesting. That sounds intriguing. Why do you think you are the most suitable person for this job?
Thank you very much. I consider myself very meticulous and I pay strict attention to detail. I know this because in my current job, I realized a gap between patients that are being discharged to how we can connect them when we see them at the clinic. I realized that there was no tool for this, and then I developed one that can connect our patients that are discharged to when we see them in clinic. I must say that this particular innovation was commended by my supervisor, and it's a tool currently used in my organization. I consider myself very innovative. This is what I believe I can bring to the table.
Thank you. I want to believe you understand the role with which you are applying for.
Yes.
You are being interviewed for study coordinator. And I also want to believe you know what we are all about.
Yes, I do.
Now, tell me about a challenge or conflict you have faced at work and how you dealt with it.
Thank you very much. As the study coordinator for LASCO, which is Lassa fever prognostic factor in an epidemic context, I coordinate the efforts of my team members, which are the nurses. And I realized that there was a conflict between the study nurses and the nurses taking care of the patient. And I had to come in because my nurses were thinking that I wasn't concerned about their welfare. Especially for this particular nurse, what I did was to have a drink with her outside work environment where we spoke extensively. And this, I saw this as fantastic because we're able to see from both perspectives. And eventually, our productivity was not hindered. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly, Toastmaster Komiyo Ehua. I clearly see your passion. Thank you. Finally, before you go, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Thank you very much. Where I see myself in the next 5 years is handling what I am currently doing in a larger context. I see myself treating patients and then collecting data for future references and purposes so that healthcare authorities and our leaders can make effective policies for the betterment of the common man. And while this is in the case for my career, I would love to be married to the love of my life, having one kid. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish all your desires be met pronto. Thank you very much for heeding our call for this interview. You may take your leave now.
Thank you.
Yes, I hand over the control back to myself, the Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, if you loved that interview, if you find it enthralling, please give me a 6. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. For me, she did so well, and off the record, don't tell anybody. I think she will have the job. Thank you. The next speaker. The next speaker is a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. She is the division director for Division F. She's a chartered banker. She's a project manager and communications coach. She joined Toastmasters in 2016. She is the past president, AWN Toastmasters Club, past club growth director, Division F, past program quality director, Division F, past director, Area 16, and current Division F director. Her personal mantra is Kaizen, continuous improvement. And believe me, she lives it. It's always my delight to introduce Toastmaster Chidi Chukwudi Madu, DTM. A round of applause as we welcome her to give a special presentation.
Thank you most graciously, the Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, Pacesetters Toastmasters Club and our guests. It's a delight to be here with you today again. And I would want to take the next few minutes to discuss. I would want this to be as interactive as possible. And I want to discuss on how to conquer your fear of public speaking. Research has shown that when you attend a burial ceremony, most persons would rather be the person in the grave than the one being called up to give an eulogy. And for some of us on the call, we're about to commence a journey that would help us become better speakers. The truth is, everyone, every human is born with the ability to speak. But then we have something that is natural to us, and that is fear. And what fear does is help us preserve ourselves. Fear is a natural phenomenon that happens with everyone. So for you to be able to communicate with people, whether one person, 5 people, or a crowd, you need to first conquer the fear that lives within you. There are certain people that do not have an issue when it comes to engaging with people one-on-one or speaking to 2-3 persons at a time. But the moment you take them and you put them in a room that has 5, 10 people, they tend to withdraw into their shell. They tend to be scared. I listened to a podcast sometime last week, and this very podcast was by a Toastmaster who is a trauma psychologist. This is a lady who prides herself as being able to engage a crowd of people, speak to them without fear, speak to them, communicate, engage them and take charge. But something happened to her. And this thing that happened was after she has spent close to 2 years in Toastmasters. Well, according to her, she went on a hiatus, she went on a break, and then she was invited to address a group of people. The interesting thing was that this group were not adults, they were teenagers. And as she stood before them, ready to commence her speech, she blacked out. She froze. Like everything she had prepared for suddenly flew away. She could not remember anything. And she gave us 5 tips of dealing with the fear of public speaking. One is to know your natural window of tolerance. Your natural window of tolerance is that space in which you can function effectively. If you're someone who is comfortable, have listening to music few minutes before you speak, or you're someone who is comfortable in perhaps your natural environment, you're comfortable with your family, but you're not comfortable with crowds, you need to identify what your natural tolerance is. What this will do for you is it will enable you speak effectively, speak without fear. And one thing you can do to boost this is planning, effective planning. So if you have to speak, you have to first write down your speech, practice it, plan. So you have a week to present a speech. You can start planning, break it down into milestones and begin to follow them, such that before it's time for you to present, you are comfortable with the fact that you know what you want to speak to. Irrespective of the crowd you're going to face, you will be confident to present to them. Something else that we need to pay close attention to is to regulate our emotions. Some might ask, how do I begin to regulate my emotions? Because sometimes just before it's time, you're probably relaxed. And just before it's time, you're thinking and overthinking. And that's something that we tend to do when we're anxious. You begin to overthink. What if I go out there and I don't connect? What if I go out there and I forget what I'm supposed to speak to? What if I go out there and I'm unable to maybe make the audience like me? What you should do is bring yourself to the present. The scientists will say mindfulness. Bring yourself to the present. Focus on what you are feeling, how you are feeling. And that way, you're able to identify the emotions that are running through you. Isolate them and not react to them. Do not forget, the first is to know your window of tolerance. The second is to regulate your emotions. The third thing you should do is to habituate your fear. How do you do this? Create a habit. Create a speaking habit. What most effective public speakers have done is to develop activities that they do just before they go up to the lectern. Some persons will just take deep breaths. Some persons will utter words of affirmation to themselves. Chidi, you can do this. Chidi, go for it. Some people will just sing, some will dance. Identify what will work for you and begin to implement it. Above all this, amongst all these things, one thing you should note that what you want to speak about is known only to you. Your audience don't know what you want to speak about. You're the only person that knows. So whether you make a mistake or not, it's not known to your audience. It's known to you alone. So whether you make a mistake or you don't make a mistake, just keep speaking. Continue. Because the truth is, if you begin to think so much about it, like, oh, I just made a mistake. Oh, did I say this right? This was not how I wrote the speech. You begin to panic, and it will be evident to people people you're addressing that this speaker is panicking, or that this speaker suddenly has lost his or her thought process. Do not forget to identify what triggers your anxiety. For some of us, it's the risk of failure. For some of us, it's the fact that you might appear foolish. People might look at you and wonder, what is she saying? What is he saying? For some, it's, I want people to think I'm funny. Can I be funny? Most people think it's until you begin to make your audience laugh or giggle or chuckle that you've made impact on them. Note what your anxiety triggers are. Identify them and don't react to them. Now, it is normal to feel anxious. Even the best speakers, when you ask them, they will tell you that few seconds or few minutes just before they are called onto the lectern, they feel butterfly in their stomach. Their heart rate spikes. Why? Because you're about to commence something that the outcome is unknown to you. That notwithstanding, practice would definitely help you conquer that fear. Seek out opportunities to speak. You've joined the Toastmasters Club. This is a community that gives you the opportunity to develop your public speaking skills. Take on table topics. Formulate table topics on your own. Present to your family. Present in front of a mirror. Present to yourself. Engage your mentor. Engage any member of your club. When you're out in church or a social gathering, seek opportunities to speak and visualize. Whatever outcome you want to gain, visualize it. Because when you see it in your mind and in your heart, then you can will and act it into fruition. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, do not forget that it's normal to feel nervous. Your audience do not know what you want to speak to. You can identify, or you should identify, activities to ease your nervousness and your fear. Acknowledge the fact that fear is natural and everybody feels it. If you know what those anxious feelings are. You're mindful enough to isolate them and not react to them. You habituate your fear. And you know what your window of tolerance is. Then you will be able to deal with the fear of public speaking. And the interesting thing is you're in a Toastmasters club. Take on that opportunity. Seek out every opportunity to engage Toastmasters who you know are more experienced. Pick on their experience. Seek out opportunities to speak. And before you know it, you will be an excellent public speaker. And people will begin to wonder, how did you improve in this manner? You've commenced the journey. Stay on and see it to the end. And you definitely will come out on top, a superstar public speaker. Thank you for listening. Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, the virtual lectern is back to you.
Thank you very kindly, Didi. Thank you so much. That was deep. Don't you agree with me? I learned a lot of nuggets from her speech, and I can relate very well. We are all in the same journey together. I learned especially to just keep speaking no matter what, because I'm the only one who knows what I'm talking about. I've also learned that I should know my anxiety triggers, and that fear is natural and everybody feels it. I'm not alone in that. And finally, that I should practice, 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 and seek opportunities to speak. A round of applause for all the wonderful speakers today. If you enjoyed the prepared speeches session, please give me a 7. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't have asked for more. I got the clap, and I got the 7 too. Give me a 7. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's always been said that better is the conclusion of a thing than the beginning thereof. We have come to the last session, the enthralling last session of this meeting, which is the evaluation session. At this point, I will hand over the lectern, the virtual lectern, to our able Toastmaster Stella Odunwa, DTM. A round of applause as we welcome her to the virtual lectern.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. That was so wonderfully done. We quite appreciate everyone for the roles they have played so far. It's at this time, fellow Toastmasters and our guests, I would like to ask how well the speaker said in terms of keeping to time. Timer, we have to prepare speeches and speakers. How did they fare with keeping to time?
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. I will commence by saying DTM Chidi Chukudi Madu was, I didn't really know the time frame she was. I think she'd be within range of 5 to 7 minutes. So when we got to the 5th minute, I raised my red card to alert her. Probably due to the network or because of the longevity of her speech. So she spent 13 minutes, 15 seconds. And TM,
Okay. What's
Okay.
up, Komiya?
TM Komiyo Ihua spent 5 minutes, 16 seconds.
5:15, okay. Can the evaluator for Toastmaster Chibi tell us the time frame for her, please?
Madam General Evaluator didn't give a speech. It was a short training that was to last for 15 minutes, not a prepared speech.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So if it is a training, then she spoke within time.
Yes.
Timer, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So there are two categories of speakers today. The one for prepared speeches and the one for training. So all of them, both of them are winners by default in their category. We will not call for vote. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, may we commence the evaluation segment. I want to bring to the fore the one who is evaluating Toastmaster Komiya for her speech. Kindly give us your evaluation. Please, who is evaluating Toastmaster Komiya's speech?
It's Toastmaster Lamaro on call.
Oh. Toastmaster of the day, could you kindly assist us with the evaluation?
Thank you very kindly.
Thank you so much.
This is unofficial, as Toastmaster Lemora will be expected to fill in the evaluation and submit to the speaker herself. But then, Toastmaster Ihua, I love your confidence. I love the fact that you came prepared for the interview. You were well dressed, and it was clear that you were suitable for the position. You answered all the questions confidently, and it was an interesting session, more like a discussion than an interview. It was clear that you knew your onions. And as at the time that you were interviewed, we were sure that you were going to get the job. So at this point, I hand over control to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our impromptu evaluator. You have done well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, having dispensed with the evaluation segment for
Sorry, Elemoro is on call. Is back on call, I think.
Toastmaster Lemoro, we are watching the time. I don't know if we can take the evaluation.
I am very, very sorry. I apologize for that.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
All right, I'll be very brief. I have been having terrible day with network. So the presentation was about an interview, and basically that also relates to what I do professionally. So I'll begin by stating that the questions were actually relevant, and the interviewer actually did a very, very good job. On the part of the interviewee, I think she also responded to the questions very well, and she also showed preparation for the whole presentation. And if I was an employer in that case, I'd definitely give her a shot. So what else did she do well? She had a natural eye contact. She was obviously confident, and obviously intelligent, and of course, she showed to be someone who has a lot of content and can speak very professionally as well. But some of the observations I have, I pointed out 5, so I hope I couldn't talk about them. But let's see. So she was too formal in that video. She didn't really make use of gesticulation. She was too formal, and she kept saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for me, being in an interview situation, I wanted to feel relaxed. I wanted to smile. I wanted to feel comfortable, because that shows a lot of positive energy, even from both ends. So that was not too present in the whole thing, and that made the interview too formal. It didn't bring a lot of life into the interview. Some of the things I also could talk about was the passion, optimism, hope, especially when you're someone who is coming into an organization freshly. You need to show that passion, that optimism, that level, and build curiosity in the mind of your interviewer, so that they can look forward to something when they bring you on board. And I felt that was not too high in that presentation. So I think those two things, being too formal and showing the right level of passion, those two things were missing, in addition with the smile. So aside that, I think she gave a very wonderful answer at the end of the presentation. And of course, she's confident. She looked at the camera very naturally. So I'll give her kudos for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, evaluator for Toastmaster Kumie, Toastmaster Elemo. That was well done. Toastmaster of the day, can you confirm if Toastmaster Chidi's training is under the Pathways platform, or is a training under Better Speakers, Better Processes Lost? What I mean is she to be evaluated?
No, it's just a special presentation.
Oh, thank you. I thought as much. Thank you so much for confirming.
All right.
Moving on, fellow Toastmasters and our esteemed guests, it's now time for me to bring forward my team. Our time is almost gone. We shall endeavor to do this within a 2-minute time frame. The first person I would like to bring is the one who played the role of grammarian for today's meeting. Can you come forward, please, and give your presentation, grammarian?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, DTM Stella. Thank you so much for inviting me back. I'll be very brief with my evaluation. I was quite impressed with one or two people who used the word of the day as I commenced further on delivering those names. We have Toastmaster Ibrahim, who used it twice. We also have Toastmaster Salif, who used it times. I expected to see Toastmaster Chidi, DTM Chidi, use the word, but she was more interested in what she had to deliver. Our dear General Evaluator, I expected that you would use the word, but you did not as well. TM Ademola Lamoro, I didn't hear you, and TM Mo. Oh, okay, maybe I must have missed it. Please, pardon, apologies. TM Kumoyo, I did not hear. I did hear, but the person who I saw or who I heard the most use the word of the day is TM Akanimo. She used it 5 times. So I want to give kudos to Toastmaster Akanimo and Toastmaster Salif, our Toastmaster of the day, and to encourage everyone else to please use this word in the course of this week or what's left of it. It's back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miriam. How well did we make sure that we use good grammar? I did not hear that evaluation. Did we all speak well?
For time, I chose to. We did quite well. There were a few butchering, but left for time. I would leave that out. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Miriam. We'll now commence this meeting, that's this evaluation segment again, the second phase of it, by bringing forward the one that we call, that played the role of timer to conclude the segment. Timer, Toastmaster Taiwo Dada. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any addition to this to us for time?
Okay. I think everybody actually kept to time. And as they were seeing the cards, they were able to, they were able to keep to their time. It was actually a reminder, and everyone did very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Taiwo Dada, for a beautiful job as timer. May we now bring forward the one who played the role of accountant, Toastmaster Muyiwa.
Good evening once again, distinguished Toastmasters. I hope I'm online.
Yes, you are. We can.
Thank you very much. As I commence the accounting for this session, TM Ibrahim, who took the table topic 1, mentioning the words quotes, notes. There's always this emphasis, too much emphasis on alphabet S whenever he mentions quotes or notes. Then there are quite some repetitions of some words like madam, madam. I noted that. Going forward, TM Komiyo, the use of then I mean, that was mentioned several times that I even lost counting. TM Dada Taiwo, the word ants, there's an emphasis on letter S after ants. Then generally, I noted that a lot of presenters have this rather long, undue long pause. It was quite common from the presentations of a lot of presenters. The network problem did not allow me to note more than this as I hand over the virtual lantern to DTM seller. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, accountant. I'm about to ask, did Toastmaster Lemoro bribe you?
Bribing
You forgot to count the notes.
It was when the network was bad at my side.
Okay, so who is our master for today?
Pardon?
Who gave the most hours for today's meeting?
Toastmaster Dada Taiwo.
Okay, thank you so much. Toastmaster Taiwo, we look forward to your next presentation being flawless and devoid of errors. Thank you, our accountant. We shall now move over to the listening evaluator. Toastmaster John, award you.
Very much, DTM Stella, for the coordination of the evaluation session. It's always a delight to speak. Thank you for calling me once again. I would love to ask a few questions here from the speeches that have been presented so far. Drop answers in the chat box, please, if you have the answers. I expect you will have the answers because you were listening attentively. If I say to you, don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're dash, what would you have in that space? Can you drop it on the chat box?
Done.
Someone else has said,
done.
Great.
Stop when you are done.
Fantastic. Don't stop when you're tired. That's when you dash. What can you have there?
Stop.
Don't. He said?
Done.
They have answered you, Toastmaster.
This is another question. Don't stop when you're tired. That's when you dash.
Stop when you're done.
No. Don't stop when you're tired. That's when you start. Don't stop when you're tired. That's when you start. All right, let me move on to identifying other tidbits that were quite remarkable today. Someone said, why wouldn't anyone prefer to be, okay, so this is the question. Why would anyone prefer to be in the grave in a funeral? This was in a presentation by DTM Chidi. Why wouldn't anyone prefer to be, why will anyone rather prefer to be in the grave
during a funeral? What would the answer be? Is someone answering or dropping an answer in the chat box? Well, the answer to that is that the person is scared of speaking. She made that analogy when she was saying that people would prefer to be in the grave than give an eulogy at a funeral.
Hello, Toastmaster, are you there? It
She
appears you
said
have
something
lost
about the
that.
window of tolerance. Help all the Toastmasters and guests in the room. Someone is answering? Hello? Is someone answering? Anyway, the answer there is practice. Practice will help you conquer fears. And that will be it for me for the tidbits in today's meeting. Over to you, General Evaluator, and thank you once again for the privilege.
Thank you very much, our listening evaluator, for your interesting question. I'm afraid the network was acting up. Consequently, we could hardly hear the latter part of it. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, our meeting commenced promptly today, and I must tell you that attendance was quite interesting, even though right now we are just left to about 13 participants. It appears as if everyone has decided to commence another meeting somewhere. Anyway, all the role players did very well, from the Toastmaster of the day to the evaluation segment to the prepared speech segment to the impromptu speaking segment. Everyone who played roles, including the speakers, they did beautifully well. They showed the message they were made of, and they listened attentively and answered and spoke very, very knowledgeable about whatever they were speaking. So kudos to all of you who played roles for today's meeting. Our timer, we did very well too. For my team, our counselor, Miriam, listening evaluation, you all did very well also. I only have a few observations to make on the meeting. I wish to ask that after being introduced by maybe your evaluator or the Toastmaster, there's no need to introduce yourself again when speaking. We should also take note that when we are giving introduction, that is, we are introducing speakers, we should take note of the fact that we are under a time frame. So we should summarize the introduction given to us so that we don't just read everything verbatim, just take only just a few key points and work with. And that's enough. Reading the whole introduction, it takes so much time that at the end of it all, we are not creative in terms of giving an introduction that doesn't look as if it is being read or as if we are reading something aloud. Let's read it, while reading it, summarize and just make it as if it's coming from our head instead. So we should depend less on notes, really. Then we should also endeavor to ask the questions on table topics before calling on speakers. I think that's the best way to go in teaching everyone how to prepare table topics and speaking off the cuff, in the sense that the table topic segment was actually designed in such a way that when the questions are given, members are alert, knowing that they will be called at any given time to speak on the topic. So in their minds, they already are rehearsing what they will say when called upon. So when you are not called upon, or whether you are called upon or not, you already have an idea of what you will say. And against the background of the person who spoke, you'll be able to see whether your own presentation would have been better than the person who answered the question or not. Or if the person answered were also good, you will be able to see, okay, what you can take away from it to add to what you already prepared in your mind. But tendency to maybe keep the questions, call a speaker, just rules out every other person from preparing in their mind table topics. And that won't make us good table topic presenters. All of us as Toastmasters, we need to learn how to prepare table topics so that anytime we have to go for a concept, we are well prepared. Other than that, I wish to say that we are doing very well in terms of time, and we hope that by 7 p.m. we will be through with the entire meeting. It's at this point, fellow Toastmasters, that I would like to call on the Toastmaster to bring forward the president who will anchor the rest part of the meeting. So Toastmaster of the day, over to you.
Thank you very kindly, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Stella Odunwa, DTM. That was a very enthralling evaluation session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I hand over control to the president, I would like to announce the results for the votes for Best Table Topics Speaker. Drum rolls. Are we rolling the drum? Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, the winner for the Best Table Topics Speech is Toastmaster Ibrahim Kasim. A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. As I invite the president to give him his award and close the session, I would like to thank you all for this meeting. My job is done here. Thank you so much. I've had good fun, and I know you all had some good fun too. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, let's welcome the president, Toastmaster Femi Adeyinka, as he closes the meeting. Toastmaster Femi, are you on the call?
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Am I audible? Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, the General Evaluator. I want to commence by saying by tendering my apology for my inability to be visually present for this meeting at the beginning, although I connected via the audio link, but my inability to be visually present was due to the nature of my work. It was inevitable. I'm sincerely sorry for that. I want to extend my sincere appreciation to everybody, every key role player, the General Evaluator, the Toastmaster of the day, the accountant, the timekeeper. Everybody has been wonderful. And to my VP who stood in for me at the opening speech, I want to say that the meeting today commenced on a very interesting note, very educative and very interactive as usual. It was a very wonderful time and experience all the way. I want to believe that the lessons have been had from the speaker, from the opening speaker, with respect to the topic of the day, that is the price of growth. Please let us put these words at heart and remember that every good thing in life comes with its price. Tell me something that has no price, and I will tell you something that is absolutely valueless. I want to also appreciate the winner of the table talk, Toastmaster Ibrahim Kazim. Please let us all give him a round of applause for standing out as the winner of the table talk for today. He has given us a speaking speech, and the vote has said it all, giving him the winner for the table talk for the day. The prepared speeches too has been extremely wonderful. Toastmaster Chidi, in a usual style, has given us something to ruminate over after the meeting. Everybody is highly appreciated. And I want to use this medium to also inform our guests. I wouldn't know precisely if there were two special prospects I expected to be in the meeting. I tried searching for their name. Maybe I couldn't get their name accurately. But if they are on the meeting, I would encourage us that the meeting has been interesting, no doubt. I am sure you have had a nice time. It has been educative and it has been interesting. If truly you enjoyed this meeting, I want to invite you to come in and formalize your membership. Our hands are wide open in Pacesetters Ibadan to accept you into our club as full members. And you can do us a favor by bringing us more people, your friends and associates. This is an organization that grooms and allows for leadership and self-development. I believe no other association can beat us at that. If there's anywhere you can develop yourself, the best person you can invest in is yourself. And I want to say Toastmaster is a platform and an avenue to do that. The networking is second to none. And the underlying benefits of being a bona fide member of the Toastmaster International, as depicted by the VP at the introductory speech, is still there for us to explore. So many underlying benefits. I want to appreciate us once again for having a wonderful time. Thank you very much. Our next meeting will be coming up on the 14th day of October, considering that this month has 5 Thursdays. So the next Thursday is still the next Thursday is still within the month of September. That should be on the 31st. So our meeting comes up on every second and fourth Thursday of the month. The second Thursday of October will be on the 14th. I will implore us all to let us do this again, better and bigger. I believe we can do it. Thank you so much. I want to use this medium in the absence of any other contribution by the power conferred on me as the charter president of Toastmaster Pacesetter here in Oyo State. I will open the floor for one of the erudite Toast member, a competent erudite Toastmaster, to move the motion for the adjournment of this meeting.
I, Toastmaster Stella Ojunwa, here would like to move the motion for the adjournment of this meeting till the 14th of October, 2021.
Thank you so very much, our amiable, distinguished Toastmaster Stella, for moving that motion. We need another competent erudite Toastmaster to second that motion as we prepare to adjourn the meeting till the 14th of October.
I, Toastmaster Kubi Uyanga, do second the motion for the meeting of Pacesetters Toastmasters Club to be adjourned until the 14th of October, 2021.
Thank you so very much, Toastmaster Kubi Uyanga, for seconding the motion. And while all protocols are duly observed, I want to note that this meeting has been officially adjourned till the 14th day of October, when we shall meet again to have a very interesting and well-packaged edition of this meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your time and your commitment. I want to appreciate you all. Have a nice rest of your weekend ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chidi, for the beautiful training that we had.
Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
For taking from a different perspective and enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster DTM
Thank
Stella.
you.
A wonderful time having you around. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, our Toastmaster of the day. That was beautiful. I enjoyed your role playing. Thank you, Akadaka. You did very well. I enjoyed
wonderful experience. Wonderful
Hey,
experience.
Toastmaster Kubi Younger, I can't help but be grateful to you for all the background work that you do to ensure
Honestly.
that Pacesetters meeting continues to move flawlessly. I'm very grateful.
Honestly. Thank you.
Toastmaster Babamini, you did very well. Thank you so much. We are hopeful that maybe you play another role next meeting.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very
Wonderful
much, ma'am.
canter.
Thank you,
Wonderful
sir.
canter.
Nice one, sir.
Interesting. And our grammarian, she has done
Our
excellently
grammarian
well.
was awesome. Is she
Excellently.
still around? I thought that she has gone.